Under the cold glow of the hangar lights, the fighter jet, Ghost Falcon 2026 stood silent, not like a machine, but like a predator that breathes patience. Its sleek silver-black frame shimmered with an otherworldly hue, absorbing light rather than reflecting it, as though it was sculpted from the night itself. This was not a fighter jet meant to be seen, it was meant to vanish. The Ghost Falcon was built for a generation where air superiority no longer relied on visibility or sheer firepower but on invisibility, precision, and intelligence. From the first glance, its design whispered stealth, every contour, every panel, every cut of its wings engineered to betray no presence to radar, heat, or human eyes. Fighter jet, the ace pilot whose instincts were sharper than any targeting system, stood beside it, his reflection barely visible on the glossy stealth-coated surface. The 2026 model was unlike anything the world had seen, a fusion of adaptive camouflage, silent thrust technology, and new-age aerodynamic architecture that gave the Ghost Falcon its name and legend. The frame, forged from a titanium-carbon hybrid lattice, was light as a whisper and strong as tempered vengeance. Engineers described it as a jet that could outfly its own shadow. Every external inch of the Ghost Falcon spoke of intelligence. Its skin was embedded with micro-layered radar-absorbent materials that adapted dynamically to the surrounding environment, changing hue and light reflection patterns in real time. When parked on the runway, it reflected a muted steel tone. When airborne at dusk, it shimmered like a passing cloud. When under moonlight, it disappeared completely, a ghost above the horizon. The airframe's fluid design blended the concept of falcon wings and phantom aerodynamics, creating a silhouette so smooth that even high-speed cameras struggled to capture its true outline. The 2026 iteration integrated an upgraded twin-engine layout, designed not for raw noise but for silent aggression. Fighter jet's hand rested on the exhaust vents that glowed faintly red. The new plasma cooling tech reduced infrared emission by 70%, making the aircraft nearly invisible to heat sensors. The cockpit canopy had been reshaped, now seamless and one with the fuselage, made from transparent aluminum alloy that gave the pilot full 360-degree digital vision through the helmet interface. There were no physical switches anymore. Every command, from thruster modulation to weapons deployment, was handled through thought-assisted motion control. The system read neural impulses and hand gestures, translating fighter jet's instincts directly into action. It was this human-machine bond that turned the Ghost Falcon from a weapon into an extension of its pilot's will. The nose design had been refined to a needlepoint shape, housing the Spectre 9 sensor array, capable of detecting targets through electronic camouflage, thermal distortion, and even partial radar ghosting. The result was a machine that could see through deception while staying hidden itself. The wings of the Ghost Falcon 2026 were art in motion, retractable and morph-adaptive, capable of changing their geometry mid-flight. In high-altitude reconnaissance, they extended for range and lift. In dogfights, they contracted, turning the jet into a blade of wind. At the wingtips, micro-thrusters allowed ultra-sharp vectoring, letting fighter jet pull maneuvers no simulation could predict. Observers in the control room once described it as watching lightning learn to fly. Even its undercarriage had been reimagined. The landing gear folded completely into the body, leaving no visible seams or drag surfaces. Every bolt, every rivet had been digitally printed into the structure itself, giving the impression of a living, breathing entity rather than a constructed aircraft. The paint, officially named Obsidian Pulse, contained nanotech microcells that absorbed electromagnetic interference, effectively confusing radar signatures. Under direct light, it looked like liquid night. Under moonlight, it looked alive. Fighter jet himself once said, "It doesn't fly through air, it haunts it." And that was true. The Ghost Falcon 2026 didn't just dominate the skies, it owned the silence between sound and fear. The rear exhausts were surrounded by a new magnetic plasma ring, reducing drag and heat distortion, giving the aircraft an almost supernatural flight smoothness. When the engines engaged, there was no deafening roar, only a low hum, like a distant storm waiting to break. As the sun rose over the test runway, the jet's body shifted color gradually, the surface adapting to the golden light, blending seamlessly into the horizon. Fighter jet stepped into the cockpit, the canopy sliding shut with the precision of a whisper. The internal systems activated one by one, holographic data streams, AI targeting visuals, and a pulsing HUD that synchronized with his heartbeat. With a single neural command, the engines flared. The floor of the hangar trembled slightly as air and plasma intertwined behind it. In seconds, the Ghost Falcon shot forward, no roar, no explosion of flame, just a streak of distorted light and a vanishing shape in the distance. At Mach 3.5, the Ghost Falcon was invisible to radar and impossible to track visually. Fighter Jet engaged the stealth thrust vector, shifting the jet into its signature, spectral flight mode, a maneuver that allowed the jet to fade completely from sensor detection while maintaining full control. The effect was chilling. Radar screens showed nothing, even as the jet passed directly overhead. In the control tower, the engineers watched in awe as the Ghost Falcon reappeared miles away, hovering silently like a phantom bird of prey. The new quantum engine dampeners not only reduced sound but also stabilized the aircraft at ultra-high altitudes where traditional jets struggled. The Ghost Falcon wasn't designed to intimidate, it was designed to disappear. Its very existence was a paradox, the most powerful machine ever created, yet one meant never to be seen. Fighter Jet, within the confines of his cockpit, could feel the heartbeat of the jet sync with his own. The cockpit environment used adaptive lighting that adjusted to his pulse, creating a bond that few pilots ever experienced. In the sky, boundaries between man and machine ceased to exist. When it finally descended, landing silently under a veil of shimmering light, the hangar staff approached with reverent silence. What stood before them wasn't merely an aircraft, it was the ghost of evolution itself, a symbol of how far technology had come, and how much further Fighter Jet was willing to push the limits. The 2026 Ghost Falcon was not built for the era, it was built for what came after.